It's my true pleasure to have someone with me who actually has been at the intersection of business, innovation, scaling up billion-dollar industries. He's a lot of fun.
Is that a compliment? First, let us break down AI.
You're so good at going ahead and putting people first.
Generation of today, they know what they're doing. They know what they're getting into. I don't see AI being a standalone skill. I think AI will become an operating system for work. We're having this question asked too very often, isn't it, Sudhi? AI is going to make their jobs much more interesting. Start small, fail fast, learn fast.
Wait a minute, I have to take out my cheat sheet.
I might be telling something controversial. English is no longer a
It's going to be one of those moments which, and right at the credits would say, inspired by Santoshs wonderfully noble. Today on Simulated Reality, we're spotlighting a company that's redefining how life sciences organizations harness the power of data and AI. Axtria, yes, is an AI-first data analytics company enabling life sciences enterprises to make smarter, faster, and actually more personalized decisions. From Gen AI to Agentic AI, Axtria is driving digital transformation across the product life cycle, from brand launches to, well, retirement, helping deliver better patient outcomes through intelligent action. Joining us today to unpack this monumental journey is Santoshs Thangavelu, CHRO, India and Principal. Yes, that position carries a lot of weightage. People practices at Axtria. A business transformation leader with over 25 years of experience. Santosh is helping shape a people-first, innovation-led culture that supports Axtria's global growth and mission. We are very, very happy to have Santosh with us, who is going to actually take us through this little journey on simulated reality. So please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for Santosh. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sudhi. Pleasure to be here.
Wonderful to see you here, Santosh. How are you feeling? Is everything good? And are you happy to share your really rich experience with all of us?
More than happy to, Sudhi, and look forward for this conversation.
So is it 25 years or is it 30 years?
Technically 30 years, 4 years in manufacturing, and all the rest of the years in IT services, and now with life sciences.
Wonderful. That's a very rich experience. So, I mean, right off the bat, the first thing I would like to understand from you is, correct me if I'm wrong, you've just very recently joined Axtria.
A year and a month, to be precise.
So tell me this, Santosh, when you join a company like Axtria, prior to joining it, and obviously I'm connecting it with the fact that you've got 30 years of a very rich experience, different companies, different cultures. What is that first thing that comes to your mind, whether it be probably a little bit of butterflies maybe, or that sense of excitement that you want, this is a new role, you're going to set about doing something wonderful and exciting. What's that feeling that you get before you just walk in and you're the big boss there?
The feeling is always that of excitement, Sudhi. So the feeling, whether you're a fresher or whether you're somebody with 30 years of experience, the feeling is always that of excitement, and excitement keeps you going. And that's exactly what I felt when I got to Axtria as well.
Wonderful. Of course, you've joined the company at a point where the industry, or for that matter, everything is in a very dynamic state, Santosh. So, IT services have, of course, started hiring again. There is now that push again. But the aspect of GCC and them changing from innovation hubs now to actually innovation hubs from what they were initially, just back-end offices. How is that a threat, or is it not a threat at all? This entire IT services war versus GCCs.
We're having this question asked too very often, isn't it, Sudhi?
It's not my fault. It's just something that the environment is doing.
Okay.
So don't hold me to count for that.
So I'll quote from your own recent issue of the Bellamy, right? And I quote from Mohan Pai and Achiket, who I had the pleasure of working with in the past. First of all, I think the comments that, we are running out of talent comes from a bit of a constrained mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I think there is abundance. We have 60 lakh people in the industry, and there are 6 lakh people coming out of colleges every year. And that's what Mohan told. And what is different these days compared to, say, 2 decades earlier is that we have a fantastic skilling ecosystem. There was a white space between the academia and the industry, But then there is now a good profit making mill that is running to fill that white space between the academia and the industry. So, which means that a lot of these 6 lakh people who are coming out can be skilled, and IT services companies, and they have mastered the art of filling their pyramid from the bottom, right? And so they can grow as much as they want with the output the academia creates. And so there is a plethora, there is an abundance of talent, and there is enough for everybody. So it is a wrong notion that GCCs and IT services companies and system integrators here or India-based companies have to fight for talent. There is enough talent. It's all about having the right value proposition to get to the right talent and attract the right talent. And talking specifically about a company like Axtria, which is growing in double digits now, when the rest of the industry is not doing so well, where the focus is on cutting edge technology, the going is still good. And it only gets better with GCCs coming in because we are getting closer to our customers. So, in more ways than one, it's an opportunity and it's a great opportunity.
Based on what you just said, Santosh, you are essentially trying to uh, convey that poaching of talent, which essentially has been the so-called narrative, maybe in the past or whatever is the case, is not going to be the scenario because there is enough talent. Point one. Point two, how would the freshers or aspirants wanting to come in to the industry view this in terms of the fact that there is a clear understanding from, let's say, GCCs offering, for example, 20 to 30% higher salaries vis-a-vis the IT service firms? How would you like to address that? Because talent fair, there is in abundance, as you said. But what about this aspect?
Let me put myself in the shoes of a fresher.
Sure.
So there are 2 types of jobs or 2 types of companies that I can join. I can join a services company or I can join a product company. The salary differential is for the nature of work and not for the company.
Fair enough.
Largely, the product companies pay a lot more than, not a lot more, as you said, 20 to 30%
Sure.
more than services companies, right? In both India-based companies and GCCs, both services work happens and product work happens. So it's up to the talent to choose what kind of work they want to do and what kind of skills they should have to be deserving of those salaries.
Fair enough.
So I would encourage freshers to look at the type of work, the nature of job, rather than the company that they are going to. Because both GCCs and India-based companies have their own merits in different ways. Let's say a large IT services company based in India may offer a lower starting salary. But then if you look at the life experiences that you would get through your life cycle in the company, you would be working with multiple clients.
I would love for you to go ahead and actually highlight those.
Yeah. You would be working with multiple clients. You would be solving different types of problems. You would be working for different industries. So that gives you a lot of life experience and problem solving experience. That's the advantage with the India-based companies. And with GCCs, you get to work on very deep domain problems specific to that company. So both have their own merits.
Fair enough.
But I would encourage freshers to choose what suits them best given these differences.
It's interesting that you actually highlighted them because, a lot of times, and that's why they say that you're so good at going ahead and putting people first. Is that also a part of the entire narrative or conversation when, for example, you're sitting down and you're advising leaderships in a startup? What, according to you, are probably the mistakes a leadership tends to or a leadership faction tends to make when they're going to try to surge ahead with the fact that, because there's a lot of enthusiasm when you have a startup, when you have all of that happening, but then somebody with a rich experience like yourself, what is it that you would like to maybe go ahead and speak with them about?
Let me paraphrase your question.
Sure.
Your question is, what is a leadership mistake you make when you scale?
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Okay. The first thing is internal. The second thing is external. The internal thing is, don't do more of the same.
Okay.
Right? That's not going to serve you.
Innovation.
Innovation. It's not going to serve you well in the long term. So do less of different, I would say.
Do less of different.
Yes.
Nice.
Do less of. Oh, okay. Let me rephrase that because that could be misunderstood. Don't do more of the same. Do the opposite. Right?
More of different.
Yes. More of different and less of same.
Sure.
Be very customer focused, right? So when you grow, the customers start looking at you very differently. Their expectations on what you deliver to them and what value they could expect from you, that's going to change.
Sure.
So you should be constantly in touch with that. And that would automatically translate into what your people philosophy is in hiring talent, in hiring different type of talent, in managing their performance, in crafting their learning journeys. So all that is going to change. And that's why I say don't do more of the same, but do more of the different, and which is very closely aligned to what your customers want. So be constantly in touch with what's out there externally and redesign internally. That's what I would tell people when they scale.
Isn't that also a part of one's personal journey?
Always,
Yes.
always, yes. What's the definition of learning? Learning is perceiving the world around you with all your senses, and in order to act, and then act in order to change the world around you. Right?
Nice.
Perceive the world, act, and change the world. That's learning. Right? And that holds good for individuals as well as companies.
I'm still trying to learn how to tie my shoelaces, but anyway, we'll get to that later.
Well, I wear shoes without laces. Makes life
Well
easier.
done.
Okay.
Well done. I should take a page out of your book.
Yeah.
Anyway, you just spoke about your personal growth. Let's be honest. You've been a part of scaling up billion-dollar companies. You've been part of startups. You've been part of all of that. What actually inspired you, or what was that moment in terms of your journey that got you to say, all right, wait a minute, I want to go ahead and join up with a company like Axtria? Want to maybe see how this chapter of my life is going to unfold and teach me. Am I doing more of the same, to coach you, or is it that I'm doing more of different?
Sure. Good question, Sudhi. So whether it's looking forward for a day today, or whether you're looking forward for a job, you look at three things. You look at purpose, you look at potential, and you look at people. And these are the three things that made me decide to join Axtria as well. First is the purpose. What Axtria does is nothing short of service to humanity.
Fair.
What do? We help life sciences companies get to better patient outcomes through getting the right therapies to the right patients at the right time. Right? So what it means essentially is that we assure good quality of life for humanity. And we help companies that do that be commercially successful. And that's a purpose which is very noble, very close to humanity.
Fair.
So when you get up in the morning and go to work, if you are going to work thinking, hey, I'm going to brave 1.5 hours of Bangalore traffic, but I'm going to contribute to humanity's well-being, that's good purpose.
Absolutely.
That gets me going.
Absolutely.
Right? So that's the purpose. The second is the potential. Look at the industry that Axtria is in. There are about roughly 6,000 genetic diseases. And only 5% of them have an FDA-approved cure.
Wow.
Okay, so 95% of known diseases, do not have a cure.
Wow.
And these pharma companies are the ones that are working to bring out approximately about 100 substances a year to be able to get to more cures that is afflicting humanity. And out of these, about 30 to 40% substances become blockbuster drugs. And each of these take about $1 billion median spend and about 10 years to develop. So put all these numbers together, there is so much headroom to grow, right? And company like Axtria is in the business of making them successful so that they have more money to spend about 30% of their revenues into developing new substances. So given that we have 95% of humanity's genetic diseases problem to be solved, and big pharma companies have to spend $1 billion per drug to be able to bring out one successful substance, we have the honor of helping them make their existing substances successful so that they can fund their new research. Okay, so that's the potential. Okay, so I talked about the purpose, and the purpose drills down to potential, right? And third is the people. I met about 15 to 16 extra people, senior leadership, before I joined Axtria. And they came out to be a very, very rare mix of humility and intellect.
It's very important.
Right? So it was a heady combination of intellect and humility. And they say, whatever books you read, whatever you do, at the end of the day, you are the average of the 5 people you hang around with. And I thought the best 5 people happen to be in Axtria all the time, different 5 people at any given point in time. So this purpose, potential, and people were 3 deciding factors that helped me join Axtria. And I'm lucky to be here.
Wonderful. Actually, you just put it across so simply, but the task at hand is quite overwhelming if you would actually sit back and think about it. But more importantly, you talk about the fact that it is curing or trying in a big effort, a laborious one at that, but every day you're doing it. Is the support to go ahead and find the cure for 95% of the genetic diseases, right? It's a company by the end of it, right? So there will obviously be an aspect of there being the understanding of it, making sure that it can pay the salaries, it can do all of that, etc., etc., etc. You being somebody who's putting people first as the CHRO, your job becomes critical, doesn't it, Santosh? To constantly keep reminding everyone in terms of the task at hand, the bigger picture, the bigger goal. Am I right? How do you achieve that with people? Because it's a very tough place to be. I mean, as I'm thinking about it, the noble cause, yes, it is there, very important. But how do you ensure that everyone is aligned to that thought on a regular basis?
Thankfully, Sudhi, I don't have to do much of that. Okay. I think people who join us are inherently intelligent enough, inherently wise enough to know this before they join.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
So all you need is that very occasional nudge to say, hey, when you're having a bad day, and everyone has bad days, this is what we are doing. And that's about enough. Because otherwise...
But that's a wonderful environment to work in, to be honest.
I think I guess I got lucky.
But truly, I mean, yeah.
Okay. So most of the people today, the generation of today, they know what they're doing. They know what they're getting into. So this need not be reminded too very often.
On a regular basis.
Yes. But you just need those nudges now and then, which we do. But I don't think there's too much effort required to remind people of that. And the vision, mission, and values are pretty clear to all of us.
So I need to quote something which is Mr. Manish Mittal, who spoke about Axtria being the brains, arms, and legs for pharma launches.
Yes.
Leading up from the point that you have a wonderful team, like you just mentioned. How do the people work as that lever for achieving this on a regular basis, or for that matter, making sure that they're enthused enough to carry on doing so?
See, purely from a financial perspective, right? So 85% of your cost is people. So all the input that goes into the company is people, right? So if companies like us, if companies like Axtria is the arms, legs, and brains for pharma companies,
sure,
then people is the central nervous system for companies like Axtria. As simple as that.
True.
So people control everything. The people control the very existence of the company itself. So it's our net worth coming in and walking out every morning and every evening. So it is not a resource. We don't see people as a resource, but we see people as the central nervous system of the company, and we see that as the net worth of the company that comes in and goes out every morning and evening. And we treat them no different than that. And there is a plethora of things that we do in terms of capacity building, capability building, and culture building that enables people tune to this vision and be what they're supposed to be.
Well, pretty much that is what I actually wanted to go ahead and speak to you about. You've been here for what? Pretty much now 11 months.
Yeah,
1 year
13,
and 1
14
month.
months. Yeah.
How many aspects of innovation, or for that matter, motivation or talent exploration, would you have been able to very, very quickly understand, Santosh, when you joined the company? Because why I ask you that is, a lot of times, and correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of times when a person is coming in from different industries, right, different practices, manufacturing being one of them, very different from probably what it is today that you're doing, etc., etc. There must be some interesting little practices that you might be experimenting with. Is that true? When it comes to innovation, when it comes to motivation, because like you said, very importantly, 85% of the resource are people.
Yeah, 85% of the cost of revenue is people, right?
Right.
Can you rephrase your
The
question?
innovation aspects, which might be exciting, that you might be bringing in purely through your experience and different industries that you work with.
So that's contextually a slightly funny question, and I use the word funny a little consciously because innovation was a luxury earlier. It is a must today.
True.
Okay. So you don't innovate because you want to do something better, but you innovate to stay in the same place. That's where we are now.
Nice.
Because things are changing so fast outside. So if you don't do things differently on a daily basis, you will be left out, right? So we are changing as we speak the way we manage the talent supply chain, the way we manage the talent management, and the way we manage culture. From the small things, incremental innovation, to transformative innovation, we do these things day in and day out. And the only limiting factor here is our own ability to absorb the change, right? So
because it's happening so quickly, isn't it?
Yes. So I would want a lot of AI in our hiring practices. I would want a lot of AI in performance enabling. I want a lot of AI in crafting hyper personalized learning journeys for people. But the limitation is our own limitation in how fast we can absorb the change and implement it. So innovation in thought is happening at a rapid pace. Innovation in execution, we are catching up. And when I say we are catching up with our own thought, just to be clear.
You were talking about the fact that, culture is very important, and the fact that innovation is extremely, extremely the need of the hour.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Yeah.
But that obviously, because it's working so quickly on a dynamic pace, and it's changing every day almost. So that actually brings me to the point of, what is your philosophy per se to go ahead and balance execution in terms of excellence with the fact that you're encouraging entrepreneurship, which is a risk-taking aspect of things.
Yeah.
So excellence being the fact that the pure aspect of the jobs that the company is doing, Axtria is doing, required to be at that level.
Yeah.
So that's a very tough balance. Is it? Or is it that something which has now become ingrained in the fabric?
See, it's like this. Customers want both. Customers want predictability in execution.
True.
And customers want innovation, right? At the end of the day, we are here to give what customers want. So how do we balance it the way you put it? You balance it by taking it in 3 steps. The first step is to earn your right through execution excellence. The second step is, once you earned your right, start small, fail fast, and learn fast. And the third step is, use your learning to scale fast on an innovation basis. So what happens then is that your core delivery is safe and assured while you run an innovation engine. So that gives your customer the peace of mind that you're dealing with a predictable vendor, and it also gives them the excitement to work with the innovative supplier.
So it's a predictably innovative vendor.
Yes.
That is the magic mix.
Yes. And that's what customers want, and we exist to give what customers want. So I think it's not a choice, but it's a way of life.
But the environment Santosh, needs to be very, I would say, like a fail-safe or extremely healthy? Because you just talked about the fact that it's okay for a person to execute at an early level, set a standard, but failure comes with that as well. There's a certain amount of a faux pas that can happen. So the system or the environment or the people or everyone who's driving this has to be like that safety net. That it's okay. If you fail, it's fine. Get up, dust yourself off, and be innovative as well. Am I right? Am I wrong?
You're absolutely right. Let me bandy around a HR term. It's called psychological safety. So you need to provide that 20% allowance for failure so that you get the rest of the 80% right.
Correct.
So if you are pushing for a completely fail-safe environment, it's going to slow you down.
Sure.
So we take those chances where it doesn't hurt the customer. Right? We do those experiments with our products, with our people, but internally, so that people learn in safe spaces and experiment and fail and learn, so that when they go to the customer, they can assure excellence in execution.
Also builds confidence in a big way.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's how you develop people.
So, Santosh, for something that an event like Ignite just concluded recently, two-part question. What were your personal takeaways as far as the event goes? Secondly, how do you believe an event like Ignite might help the innovation journey of Axtria as a company, and for that matter, the ecosystem? Do you encourage events like this?
Okay. The first part, I think three key things came out. Value, validation, and vision.
Sure.
Value, we heard back from the customers on what value we add to them, what value we extend to them, what difference we could make to them. And surprisingly, some of them did better than what we would do it ourselves.
Wow, wonderful.
Which means that we were educated on what we could be than we think we are, right? So the articulation of value back from customers reinforces what you do.
And that's when you, honestly speaking, Santosh, that's what everyone works for, to be honest.
Exactly. So that was one learning from Ignite. The second learning was validation. They resonated a lot with what we are building out on our products, right? With let it be Sales IQ or let it be DataMax or InsightsMax.ai. A lot of what they want and what we were building out was in sync.
Nice.
And so that validation happened. And third is the vision. So we ended up more aligned to their vision than seeing ourselves as a part of the
ecosystem.
Yes. So we became part of their vision, and they see us as a part of their vision.
So it was almost like seamless.
Yes. Of what they do and what we do, it complements so well.
Sure.
That the fact that we have a shared vision came out. So it's if you ask me to restate, it is the value, the validation, and the vision. The second part of your question, Sudhi.
How does it help Axtria's innovation?
Yeah, see, there is this usual thing of, these events create a pipeline and this and
Correct.
that. And so
Correct.
That's the usual stuff, right? But then this is your chance when you meet 300, 400 customers in person. Listen to their real life problems.
Correct.
Right? Listen to what capabilities related to what capabilities you have, right? And at that moment, you have sparks flying in your mind on what you can do to solve their problems.
Sure.
Right? And I think these events like these are a fountainhead for innovation.
For sure.
Yeah. And so I cannot overstate the importance of these events, right? And I'm glad we had Ignite this year and it turned out the way it did.
The Axtria Institute. Nice. It brings a little smile.
Yeah.
It's like that proud, like a proud father moment. That's the kind of smile you have right now, which is wonderful. It brings that sense of excitement also. The fact that you guys have been called a game changer, right? So, in terms of that aspect, the broader playbook in terms of AI, Gen I, and all of that, how is it that you are looking at that entire situation and trying to scale it for professionals with you coming in to the Axtria ecosystem?
Look, I've been part of organizations that won the ATD awards consecutively for 2 years. And I thought that was a big deal. What was happening there was a big deal. But coming into Axtria, I was so surprised to see so much more happening. And I'm so lucky to inherit it. My predecessor, Shika, had done a lot of work in putting that together. And it's so aligned to what the customer needs, to the tech skill needs, to the functional role needs, and it's so much of skilling over learning, and that's what makes Axtria Institute click. The first 6 weeks of boot camp for the freshers, that makes men out of boys. And then further on, there is so
How
much,
many push-ups are they supposed to do?
a lot.
Yeah.
It's very rigorous, believe me.
Fair enough.
And then post that, the training for laterals, it's so aligned with the business needs, and there is constant realignment happening every month, every quarter, and that makes sure that our capability needs are in tune or ahead of the curve. Having said that, the whole Gen AI and agentic AI ecosystem, we have a need to rapidly scale that capability
Sure.
in the company, and we cannot afford to have it as a sliver of capability, but we need that to be as a operating system for of a capability in the company. So we need data engineers with AI capabilities, we need data analysts with AI capabilities, we need data scientists, ML engineers, ML ops engineers, all with agentic AI and Gen AI capabilities. And our institute is doing a lot of work in roping in skill champions and citizen trainers to develop programs that will rapidly scale this capability within the company. So that's one more interesting thing about our Axtria Institute, is that it is completely run by citizen trainers with skill champions from inside. And that makes us have a larger skin in the game, a better skin in the game, rather than relying on outside trainers. And that makes all the difference.
That actually, what the last bit that you talked about, Santosh, actually brings me to this thought, and I'm sure we all tend to have these conversations one way or the other, with the fact that there is such a dynamic, constant change with AI, with agentic AI, with all of that happening, and like you mentioned, that Axtria's Institute is concentrating on skilling the freshers who are coming in to probably deal with those changes. Do you believe that at the bedrock of that entire philosophy, as far as the institute goes, is that one way that you ensure a confident, probably not an insecure workforce being able to deal with these changes as you keep moving forward? Because those changes are going to constantly keep taking place. So is that how you will ensure there is a professional workforce?
I see it slightly differently, Subhi.
Sure.
I see this training helping people acquire those skills that would make them enjoy this opportunity
Nicely
more
put.
than
It being a fear.
yes. The question of fear is ruled out.
Fair.
Right? Fear is for people who have fixed mindsets. Okay, we recruit people who have growth mindsets, and people with growth mindsets feel that there is always something new to learn, and that they can reinvent themselves. And when you're dealing with such people, this kind of training, this kind of change only helps them enjoy the change more rather than be afraid of it.
Sure.
So I think what this is essentially doing is to make people more fulfilled at their jobs and give more scope for their potential to be creative.
What is the role? I mean, let's address the elephant in the room, right? The GCC conversation, which we started with right at the top. How would you say that is a place where things have changed? GCCs no longer are considered to be back-end offices, etc. All of that. Now we're looking at them as innovation hubs, as innovation engines. So as far as Axtria is concerned, Santosh, I would love for you to shed light on that.
In the context of AI and
Yes,
GCCs,
yes,
is
yes.
that what you mean?
Yes.
First, let us break down AI, right? So there are 4 types of agentic AI that can happen. There can be task AIs, there can be workflow AIs, there can be interface, and there can be governance, right? So I think right now there is a lot of activity in the task and workflow, but as the interface and governance aspects of it uh, get adopted more and more, GCCs will stop being what they were commonly perceived as, but rather they would become global orchestration centers. And that would mean a lot of opportunity for companies like Axtria, because we would be working with what represents the customer more as a customer here, where we are 85% of Axtria. So, which means that a big chunk of Axtria is going to interact very closely with a big chunk of the customer in a geography where more people are there.
Fair.
Which means that a lot of work gets done collaboratively with the GCCs. And so both of us get to do much better work, much faster. So that, I think, this combination of more GCCs and more AI bides well for the GCCs as well as Axtria.
You know, you'd mentioned earlier when we just started, and now you and I know each other a lot better. So, and it's a pleasure. Hi, Santosh, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good, Sudhi. And I know you do good all the time. So it's all good.
Trying. But there was something which you mentioned, and you know, it's constantly knocking at me, which is fact that you talked about it so simply, but it's the sheer weight of that task is Herculean. The 95% of trying to figure out solutions for genetic diseases. So I have to ask you, you just talked about centers, you talked about all of that. I'd love for you to give me an example. Give me a life example, or for that matter, how is it that Axtria centers here assisted in solving maybe or providing the best possible answers to one of these genetic disease issues globally? How is it that you guys worked out something?
The one word that jumped at me in your question was here. So there is no here and there, right? So we are a global company working for global clients, solving global problems. So the reason we are there in Noida, Gurgaon, Hyderabad, Pune,
Sure.
Bangalore is because we want to be where the talent is. We want to be co-located with the talent. But the way we are structured and the way our projects get executed and the way we engage with our customers, it's through a seamless global team, right?
Sure.
So our sensory perceptors are in the US, are in the UK, continental Europe, very closely working with the customers. And there are thin layers of delivery on site in the US and UK and continental Europe, and a big chunk of delivery happening from India. But these teams are all very closely intertwined with each other. And we solve the problems that you mentioned day in and day out for 16 of the top 20 pharma majors.
Wow.
Right? And it's not one launch or one drug, but multiple launches and multiple commercialization successes.
A wonderful little aspect of the fact that you are working with issues which hopefully are helping humanity in a big way. And one doesn't see these things, right? They're palpable only when you start to see them at a mass level. And those are those moments where you probably sit back on your own, Santosh, and say, wow, yeah, something good that one contributed to.
That's right. And that feeling is there every day, Sudhi.
Wonderful. 5 years down the line, how do you see Axtria's GCC perspective in terms of, or for that matter, with the way, like I said, since we've spoken about agentic AI, we've spoken about AI, the way it's evolving, etc. How do you see the overall landscape being? Let's say 5 years down the line. Is there a way that you're probably clocking it? Is there a way that you're seeing it? Or it's too dynamic?
Yes, it is dynamic, but I think there is a little
Method to the madness.
Little method to the madness. Yes, as I said, this combination of tectonic changes in technology, plus these GCCs having a lot of focus in India, will make GCCs become the orchestration centers, and which means that we would be working with them much more closely, both onshore and offshore, thus making us be more intertwined, collaboratively solving problems, right? So I think 5 years down the line, we would be working more closely together with clients, and GCCs will play the orchestration role in that. And I think that's a lot of opportunity for our clients as well as us.
Internal roles, Santosh, how do you see them for probably maybe changing or not changing, for example, in terms of pure operations and services because of the way the technology is growing? I'm just taking a lead from where you just spoke about in the 5 year, for example, foresight, etc. So how is it that you secure that sense in the teams with the way things are changing? How do you secure those roles moving forward?
What do you mean securing?
When I say is especially in services, how do you basically foresee talent roles?
See, both the shape and content of roles is changing, and
Because
changing
AI, as you know,
yes,
is now pretty much taking on
yes,
a lot more in
Yes.
terms of what it can actually go ahead and execute, which probably teams were doing earlier.
right,
Right? So I remember at MachineCon, which was the event this time around. By the way, Goa was nice.
okay, as always.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there was a lot of these conversations which I remember, the leaders, GCC leaders were constantly talking about and hinting at that people don't need to feel, insecure or the people, because it's not like AI is replacing them.
Right.
It's just that AI is going ahead and taking up the more mundane perspectives.
Right.
Repeatable perspectives.
Right.
And it's giving more time or opening up more vistas
Right.
for people to utilize that time to do something more innovative.
Right.
Is that what you feel?
I agree, but with a caveat.
Fair enough.
That works well, as I said, with people with growth mindsets.
Sure.
People with fixed mindsets, they might have a problem, right? But people who are willing to learn, people who are willing to learn and grow, make mistakes and learn and grow, for them, AI is going to make their jobs much more interesting.
Nice.
And I'll tell you why. What do you do every day? So you create, you collaborate, you communicate, and you coordinate. Okay, this is
The 5 C's?
The 4 C's, if you will. So this is roughly the 4 ways I would
calibrate.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just wanted to add another C there.
No. Let's just leave it at 4 because this is largely the 4 things that you do at work. Now I said agentic AI. There are 4 levels at which it can operate, like the task, the workflows, the interfaces, and governance. So you put these 4 on top of these 4. What happens is a lot of this coordination work and is going to reduce, and much of this communication work is also going to become much more qualified and reduced, which means you will have a lot of time to collaborate and create. And that makes work a lot more interesting and fulfilling than what it is today. So I think it's in the interest of today's workforce to just cross over the valley of fear and learn to make life more interesting for themselves. To that extent, internal roles, the shape and form of them are changing, right? And we realize the need to be ahead of the curve. So we would want to do a 3-year strategic workforce planning. But I don't see AI being a standalone skill. As I said, like the English language, I think AI will become an operating system for work. Okay?
Nice.
So English is no longer a skill.
By the way, Karpathy, who is a wonderfully brilliant developer, somebody who is considered to be a very, very brilliant, dominant a shining light in the world of, going ahead and talking about code, he just mentioned something which I thought was very relevant to what you're saying. So what he's saying is coding no longer is being done just with the fact that if you have a skill set.
Yeah.
Because now he's saying you can actually code with the English language.
Absolutely.
So
There is low code, no code. So, and just like how everybody used to work with a Word document or Excel, so people would be coding their own applications and AI is going to help them. So, AI becomes an operating system for work and for life.
Sure.
Right? So, I think people should look forward for it, embrace it, and enjoy themselves.
So you're encouraging everyone to not be shying away from it. On the other hand, you're saying that, all right, let's go ahead and celebrate this entire understanding.
Absolutely. You use the right word, celebrate it.
How do you celebrate, for example, for your workforce, Santosh, in terms of the fact that the way things are, the way things is changing, the way things are growing, etc. As an organization, what is it that you need to rethink constantly on a team level, on a scale level, on a company level, to make sure that you are celebrating at the same time embracing in terms of the systems, maybe, or in terms of the other aspects, or educating the people, etc. Are there any things that you are doing which might be things which nobody has ever tried in the past? Is there something that comes up to your
I don't know if we are doing something that nobody else is trying, but what we are definitely doing is to see how we can embrace agentic AI and Gen AI in various aspects of our work. On our products and on the service layers, there's no question of not doing it. So we are already up there, or we are already in the GTM journey for that. And even for our corporate functions like marketing, finance, HR, we are taking specific use cases where we can adopt Gen AI and agentic AI. And there is a governance council that oversees this so that we move rapidly to have this incorporated in our daily lives. And we have some use cases that we are working on for this year and for next year. See, like I said, it's there is no choice. I mean, you adapt, and first you adapt, then you celebrate, right? So,
and celebrating you are.
I guess so.
Yes,
I
you
guess
are.
so.
Yeah. I see that very proud smile on your face, and yes, as you should be celebrating.
Thank you.
Axtria's growth globally, there is a very important link with India. Correct me if I'm wrong. India's growth story, for that matter, or Axtria's growth story, is linked very closely to India. Like you mentioned, you're everywhere where the talent is, right? And that was wonderfully put. But how do you see this entire situation in terms of moving forward, in terms of the pathways that you might be building up for global partnerships from here on?
Like I said, there are 6 lakh people coming out from academia into the industry every year. And we have this wonderful campus program where we recruit the best and the brightest from IITs and other tier 1 colleges. So our pipeline of talent in India is pretty much assured and pretty much on top.
Santosh, sorry, but I'll want you to maybe elaborate that on a little, elaborate on that a little more, because a lot of the people who would probably be watching, the freshers or whatever, would definitely want to know from you.
Okay.
That it's aspirational. They everyone is studying really hard, making sure that they want to be a part of the boot camp where they have to do some 9,000 push-ups, as you had mentioned. But it would be nice for you to maybe just guide them a little bit.
Right, absolutely. So we recruit data engineers, data analysts, data scientists, and from campuses as well. These are not ready-made data engineers, data analysts, or data scientists, but people who can become very good data engineers, analysts, and scientists. We put them through a 6 to 8 week training program, post which they can be allocated to different LOBs and business units. We go to close to 90 to 100 campuses.
Nice.
Recruit 200 to 250 people, either directly or through internships.
Sure.
And this is in India. And we do that at a slightly smaller scale in the US as well. So our reliance on fresh talent from the academia is been constant. We engage with the campuses irrespective of the ebbs and flows of the market, because
Which
our
is
commitment.
very encouraging.
Yes. We onboarded everybody we hired during COVID days when companies were.
See, now that's a real life example which is so encouraging.
Right. So we chose to carry people along when companies were not honoring offers.
Sure.
So we onboarded everybody, and we will continue to do that. And I think talent is getting better and better in academia, and with the white space between academia and industry being filled by skilling companies, I think the situation is getting even better. And I think for a fresher, companies like Axtria are good places to start, because you start solving real world problems from day one, right? You are
Nice.
and you are in a sector solving a problem and solving it very meaningfully, using the best of technology and having an impact on the human life. And nothing gets better than that for a fresher to aspire for, to start their careers at.
That actually brings me to this one point. You being such a senior member, such an important, mechanism in this beautiful machine of Axtria. I'd really like you to tell me, what is that one people practice that will encourage so many, young talented individuals coming into Axtria, and what is that one people practice that you've built over this journey of yours with Axtria till now? And I'm sure it's going to be a wonderfully brilliant journey moving ahead. But what's that one little principle of people practice that you've built? Encouraging is the fact that you've onboarded everyone during COVID, because that is genuinely very encouraging to hear. But another little gem that you could probably share with us, which
Okay, let's do a little Q&A on that.
Wait a minute, I have to take out my cheat sheet.
Okay, so in general, in IT services companies, or tech companies for that matter, when they start off, the male-female ratio is 50%, right? And suddenly, with people with the experience of 6 to 7 years, it drops to 30 and then falls sharply.
Wow.
Okay. You know why? It's because people who go for maternity don't return. Right? They take a career break, and
Sure.
that kind of brings the ratio down drastically.
True.
In Axtria, the proportion of returning mothers is 93%.
Wow.
That's a fact that we wear proudly on our sleeves.
And that's a wonderful one.
Yes, and that's because we provide that flexibility, the combination of flexibility, coaching, and reintegration for young mothers, so that their rejoining ratio is upwards of 90%, and that's something that we are very proud of.
And you should be, Santosh, to be honest.
Thank you.
And also, I think it's in so many ways you're building legacy in a way, isn't it? You're building the fact that there's a sense of belonging with the company.
Yes.
There is the fact that, wow, you really took care of me in those moments of, whatever I was going through.
Yes.
And you've embraced every bit of it.
Yes.
So there is a sense of belonging and a connection, which is, I believe, lifelong then.
Yes. It's part of our right values. It's just doing the right thing. It's, I would say, genuinely humble enough to say it's nothing special, but just doing the right thing that we are supposed to do.
Nicely said. Finally, Santosh, first and foremost, I have to tell you that it's been wonderful having a conversation with you.
Likewise, Sudhi.
You're somebody who is extremely simple, who is humble.
Is that a compliment?
I'm getting to the compliment.
Okay.
As a CHRO, you have to be patient. No, I'm just kidding. But I have to say this. It's truly been brilliant. But I have to also ask you, since I mentioned earlier that you love cinema, moving forward, your journey with Axtria, I would like to tell for you, everyone, if you were to talk it from a cinematic point of view, or if you were to say it from a film that you love the most, what's your journey going to be defined as in terms of the film, or maybe a storyline or something that pops in your head that, all right, this is something which makes me smile, that reminds me of this film, and it's been nice.
Okay, I'm not too sure if I can relate to a movie immediately, but I can tell you what I would like to see happening in Axtria and elsewhere in HR across, right? There is a big shift in tech. There is a big shift in the way companies look at talent. The way I look at it is that we need to de-Adam Smith HR. I don't think division of labor any longer holds good. So if I were to call out the two major aspects of HR operations, it's talent supply chain and talent management. I look at a future where talent supply chain is entirely handled by technology. When I say talent supply chain, it starts from the business forecasting to revenue forecasting to resource forecasting to talent planning to workforce management to hiring to fulfillment. This whole chain being handled by technology, and then the whole talent management piece being done by people managers themselves. I don't think it's any longer a great idea for a third party to moderate between two people who have a work relationship.
Fair?
Yeah. So I might be telling something controversial
No.
as a HR person,
No.
but I think the best relationships are the closest relationships. So between a people manager and an employee working for the people manager, I think that relationship should be pristine and pure and open and transparent. And you shouldn't need a third party governing that. So that's where I would like to see people practices more in Axtria and elsewhere.
So basically, that's a script for a film that hopefully we should be going ahead
Why
and
not?
thinking about.
If you can have QT director's 11th movie.
Let's hope so.
Okay.
It's going to be one of those moments which, and right at the credits would say, inspired by Santosh's wonderfully noble thought.
I would be glad to have that.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Santosh. It's been a true pleasure having you with us here. And it's been educational. It's been inspiring. And all we have to say is that we wish you all the best in your journey moving forward with Axtria, Quentin Tarantino, and of course, various other things that you're going to be going ahead and exploring and celebrating.
So it's been an absolute pleasure being here. And it was a lot of fun talking to you and meeting your colleagues over here. Hope to be here again. Thank you so much for hosting me.
Yeah, some of the colleagues were, well, and we'll talk about that later. Since you also mentioned that, you go where the talent is. So thank you so much for coming to our show.
Great being here.
I had to say
again.
that.
Thank you, Sudhi.